Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We are down to the final stretch of conference tournament picks videos. I'm down to the last two, Big 12 and the Big 10, and here we go with the Big 12 tournament. Now this conference, I'm not the biggest fan of this conference. You know, after last year, how they all beat each other up, and the only team that did anything was really Baylor out of this conference last year. Yeah, I feel like I'm starting to get the same vibe of who really will do anything in the tournament this year. So they all beat each other up, and then they all suck ass in the tournament. What else is new? It seems like that's what happened last year, especially. But Big 12 does sometimes have some teams that do make deep runs, like with more than one team. Start with number one Kansas. You know, I can't get behind Kansas, man. I really can't take this team seriously. They have Baji, who has stepped up tremendously this year, but at times he's been streaky. Christian Brown, thank the good Lord to get Christian Brown, because if you didn't have him, then what the fuck is your guard play like? David McCormick has sucked ass too at times. I mean, come on. I mean, dude. With McCormick struggling, I mean, what is your team? Especially the bigs. Kansas rebounding is trash at times. Their defense has been trash. I don't know. They split the season series with Texas and Baylor and Texas Tech. So, yeah, I'm shocked Baylor didn't end up swiping the 1 seed away from Kansas. Baylor is the defending national champions. Number 2, Baylor getting healthier. James Akinjo's coming back. Of course, he came back. He's been playing very, very well. LJ Cryer was out at one point a couple of times, so I think it was a back injury. I can't remember. Jonathan Shachwell was lost for the year. That's a very big loss for them, because Baylor's interior presence is now faltered because of that. They still got a Flo Thamba, but I don't trust Baylor much. I mean, I was not having Baylor in my Final Four anyway. I'm not going to be. Just a spoiler alert for next week. But Baylor's defense is suffocating at times, so Baylor, I think, could win the Big 12 title. They lost in the semis last year, so we'll see. To Oklahoma State, which I almost forgot. Oklahoma State not in the Big 12 tournament this year. They have been basically banned from playing the Big 12 tournament because of recruiting violations involving Kate Cunningham, I believe, from what I overheard. So, yep. Good for them. I don't care. 3, Texas Tech. Texas Tech has been a little bit stumbling lately, but Kevin McCullough should play tomorrow against Thursday against Iowa State. Texas Tech, though, I have loved this team all year. I will say, though, early in the season, I thought they weren't going to do much. I thought they were going to barely make the tournament, be one and done, but I'm very impressed with how Texas Tech has brought it together this year. Texas Tech may not have a dominant guard, but I will tell you this, they are a very tough team to beat, and they have a stifling defense. McCullough, Shannon Jr., Kevin O'Banner, Bryson Williams, Bacho, all those guys have been just... Texas Tech swept Baylor. They split with Kansas. They beat Texas twice, but they do have some bad losses. They did lose to K-State, I believe, recently, or no. Yeah, no, they lost to K-State recently. They split with Iowa State. For Texas, you know what, man? I'm so sick and damn tired of Texas, dude. I really am. I could care absolutely less for the damn Longhorns, because what has this team done for me this year? What have they done for us this year? Oh, they beat Kansas once. Good for them. They couldn't beat Baylor. They got destroyed in one of their matchups against Baylor. Then they lost by 10. They got smoked. They got beat by Texas Tech twice. They split with Iowa State, I believe. They swept TCU. There's something, I guess. They also lost to Seton Hall. They lost to Gonzaga. Those aren't bad losses. Seton Hall's been pretty decent this year. But Texas this year, oh my God, they lost to Oklahoma State too. Can't forget that. Chris Beard, and I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. I recently found out that apparently some people were saying that it was all Mark Adams because all Mark Adams as to why Texas Tech was so successful in 2019, and that Chris Beard had some rather distasteful comments, like you're never going to get hired as a head coach. I don't know what to believe there. I'm not going to point fingers, but I will say if that's true, then Chris Beard is a major asshole, and he can kiss ass for all I care. Because Chris, I'm telling you what, this team has just been struggling offensively. Like we had the same damn problem last year. It felt like though last year's offense was even better than this year, which is kind of weird to think about it because of what ended up being the end result at the end of the year, of getting upset by Evelyn Christian. Oh my God, you would have thought Marcus Carr coming in was, I don't care. I need to speed this up. 5 TCU. I wasn't trusting TCU for a minute there. I'm starting to like them a little bit, I guess. They do have a couple guys on their team. Their guard plays pretty good. They are horrible at three-point shooting, by the way, but they do rebound well. They do get physical. That could be the recipe for success with TCU. Defense and crashing glass. 6 is Iowa State. Another team that I've never gotten behind, and why the hell would you? This team is overrated. Everyone was like flocking the ship for this team earlier this year. Everyone was blowing a nut, busting a fat nut over Iowa State. I'm like, wait a second. And sure enough, they got in the Big 12 play, and they looked like absolute crap. But I will say, though, I can't completely write them off. They do have a press-style defense, which I'm not exactly the biggest fan of. I mean, their lone offensive star really is Isaiah Brockington. There's a couple of guys that can kind of do some things like Kalsher and Count the Fourth and Aruna, but it's whatever, man. 7 Oklahoma. They've been a physical team. They've pushed some teams, but they're not very good. Under first-year head coach Porter Moser, who formerly coached at Chicago. 8 K-State, 9 West Virginia. Enough talk. Let's make picks. All right, 8 K-State versus 9 West Virginia. Complete coin flip. Kansas State's favored by 1 in this game. I will go with West Virginia in a slight 9-8 upset. By the way, Texas is the defending Big 12 champion. Kansas versus West Virginia. This should not be close, but never know Kansas. Kansas is a team that, for every time I've watched them this year, they're struggling. Like, why is that the case? They're either struggling or getting their ass beat, i.e. Kentucky. 4 Texas, 5 TCU. I'm going to go TCU because TCU at the top. My gut's been telling me TCU the whole time. We're going to stick with it. 2 Baylor, 7 Oklahoma. Baylor, I think, is getting healthier at the right time. I will take them. Now, this matchup, I'm 50-50 on because Iowa State, they want to build momentum going into this tournament. Texas Tech healthy, though. I like them better, man. I could definitely see Iowa State winning that game, though Texas Tech has struggled. They have. Kansas and TCU. Kansas lost to TCU, and then they beat them again the same week. Very close games both times. We'll take Kansas. It's whatever. I think they'll do better in this Big 12 tournament. I think Baylor gets revenge on Texas Tech. I just, with the way Texas Tech has struggled a little bit, I could see it continuing the Big 12 tournament, but it's whatever. Kansas Baylor in the Big 12 tournament. You know what? I'm going to take. Oh, screw it. We'll take Baylor to win the Big 12 tournament. I picked them to win it last year. We'll do it again. I mean, who cares? I mean, this conference is just. It's open. I think it's open season for grabs with this one because the low seed I think that can win the tournament is Iowa State, but there was a game not too long ago. They only scored 36 points. Yep, 36 points. That's it. High school numbers. Whatever. That was my Big 12 predictions. Thank you guys for watching. The Big 10 is next. The final, the big one, the greatest one of them all is the last one. I will see you guys then.